The biggest fight in mixed martial arts history. Everybody has an opinion on it, and it's really difficult to pick a winner in this one. The biggest.
I've never heard that.
Have you not? Wait, I'm hearing this is the biggest.
Really?
Yeah.
Ever?
What do you think?
I think next week it'll be the biggest.
You're excited for this one, though, right?
I am. This is a different type of matchup. It's something that the fans are blessed to have, whether you know it or not. This is different. The way that these guys compete, the level, and more than that, the minds that both these gentlemen have is what's different, I think.
Are you surprised that in this day and age of mixed martial arts, we're still seeing striker v grappler matchups?
No, I'm not surprised by that. Neither are you. You know that. That's what this is, man. That's what makes it fun. That's why we love it. But what's surprising to me is watching how the grappling transitions have changed and the striking transitions have changed through the evolution of the sport. That's interested me.
So think about the first 30 seconds of this fight. Is it Khabib marching forward like he did against Barboza, or is it Conor marching forward like he does against everybody else?
You know, that is I'd say that's probably one of the best questions, Dan, and you know, I might ask you about that. What do you think is going to happen, being as Conor's a southpaw, Khabib's not? You can't just run forward, and now you can't jab. I mean, if we're talking about fundamentals. So how do you run forward without a jab, and how do you run forward without eating a knee or an uppercut or a counter left hook? You have to play the in and out game if you're Khabib. You can't just expect to run at him. I mean, Conor's counter ability is too sharp. So I think that they're going to play a little in and out. And literally this game is about who can throw, get the other one to fire, and then the transition has to happen after that. It can't be the basic, I'll throw and hit you, you throw and hit me. These guys are high level, so it's going to be a chess match of Conor's got to throw something to get Khabib to bite. When Khabib bites, Conor has to backstep, get the range right, and then re-counter. Khabib has to do the same with his grappling. There's just you have to put 2-3 moves together in order to land on these guys. Can he just walk across the octagon, grab him, and throw him to the floor like he's been doing to everybody? If that's what you're asking me, I don't think so. Not that quick. I think he'll get him down, but I don't think it's going to be like it's been with everybody else, where he just literally grabs you and goes.
Yeah, just puts you on the floor.
I don't think it's going to be that easy.
No. The thing with Khabib is, I mean, he's not 100% on his takedowns because he just throws multiple takedowns to get it. The question really is, if Conor defends the first, second, third attempt, does he start to run out of gas? Does he defend the successive attempts?
That is the question. I think that is where you'll see Conor McGregor get ahead. That is the number one question. The root of the issue, in my opinion, of this fight is not can Khabib take Conor down. I think that's a matter of time. It's can Conor get away, create space, and just separate at all. That's the only question. But I think it's inevitable that Conor will be on his back at points in this fight. But what has changed Conor from everybody else is it doesn't get in his head. He could be down 2-0 on takedowns. Even Mendez, I would say, was winning that fight offense before he just weathered the storm. He understands that you can't keep a specific pace, and he understands that while you're trying to keep a certain pace, being Conor, where to poke you in your gut, where to poke you at the right spot so that your pace comes down even more. He's not going to poke you in your head. He's not going to hit you in your head if you're looking tired. He's going to keep stabbing your body. That's strategy. He's intelligent with it. So it really comes down to, can he hold Conor down?
Was there anything looking back at the Iaquinta fight that Conor could look at and think, I can beat him here where Iaquinta couldn't?
I saw more reads in the Michael Johnson fight. What matters is a right-handed fighter versus a left-handed fighter for Conor. He needs to watch those fights. He needs to see how Khabib fights a southpaw, and then he'll be able to find his reads on where he can land according to the negative habits that Khabib has against a southpaw. He has to look for those, and Conor knows that. He's not dumb. So what Khabib needs to find is, how do I set up my transitions on a southpaw? What's going to be my go-to? But generally speaking, a lot of wrestlers wrestle with the right leg forward. So I see that actually being okay for him in a sense for the grappling. The striking the right leg forward as a southpaw is going to be the issue for Khabib.
What about the ground game of Conor? Do you think it's underestimated? Do you think we've seen him struggle with his ground game because of conditioning in the past?
I think that for McGregor, he's a good hammer. And when he starts to slightly become the nail, he seems to weather. Don't ask me why. The one thing I could say is maybe he's just beating everybody up in practice. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he just brings people in and just smashes people the whole training camp, builds his confidence, and never really has to go to that low point and really feel the loss. You know I have to feel the loss in my camps. I have to lose. and I have to get beat down a few times to know if the fight doesn't go my way in my fight, can I weather that? Do I have the cardio? Do I have the stamina? Do I have the mental toughness? Can my body take it? We haven't seen Conor really have to come back from anything like that other than Nate. But that was at 170 pounds. That's not even a real read, in my opinion. He was too big. So this is the fight where we see how deep in the trenches Conor McGregor can go, or if he even has to. If he doesn't have to, I mean, he's the best, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But do you think there's a possible drawback in Khabib being unbeaten, and the fact that he hasn't had to rally at any point, had to adapt his game at all?
I don't see that because he's been fighting one-dimensional fights, 26-0, and why adjust?
It's not broke, right?
You're finishing everybody. You're not just winning. And then on top of that, think of the amount of rounds he has in his belt, the amount of conditioning he knows he has. Does Conor know he has that type of conditioning without a doubt in his mind? Does he? I know Khabib knows.
Yeah.
So these are little things that as fighters we know in our heart and our soul, whether we talk about them or not. And that's what I'm looking forward to see.
And what about the co-main event? I mean, it's just as important to the division, really, because that's probably going to line up the next challenger to the belt. How do you see that one going?
Pettis is in a good mind spot now, I see, ever than before. I mean, he's just more at peace. It seems that he understands now how he has his gifts and where they lie. And something he said to me that really made me know that he's in the right frame of mind. He said, before I was so worried about stuff in the takedown that I gave up my jiu-jitsu. I just gave it up. Well, you can't do jiu-jitsu if you're wrestling, and you can't wrestle if you're doing jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu gives up the takedown half the time. So you do have to find the happy medium. He's finally said, you know what? I know my strength. It's jiu-jitsu. If they take me down, they take me down. I'm going to attack. If he attacks enough, he doesn't need wrestling because that offensive jiu-jitsu becomes his defense on the ground to get back up and create space from the submission attempts to get back to his feet where he wants to be anyways. And if he goes for the submission and gets it, then he gets it. And if he doesn't, now he's got space to get up. So that's a win-win for Anthony. For Ferguson, he's got this gift of being non-stop offense. He doesn't stop throwing. And that is his defense. So non-stop offense becomes his defense. He doesn't really sit and look at you and block stuff. It's just go. And if you hit him, he's hitting you at the same time. So that becomes his defense. The real question is, can Anthony Pettis fill in the gaps while Ferguson is transitioning from his switching stance to a left hand, his hands are down, and there's a counter left hook. There's little gaps that Anthony Pettis can fill in that he's focused on filling. And that's where he's got to add up the damage. You have to gain the respect of Tony Ferguson early. You have to. You have to hit him a lot and hard if he's going to respect you. If you don't at least put him to a knee or hit him in the body more, he's just going to walk through you. And so you have to know that. So Pettis has to know that. I got to earn the striking respect. If I can earn the striking respect, you and me both know, if you earn the striking respect, what starts to happen? The shots start coming. And if you can force the shots, now you can see them. And if you can see the shots, now they're breaking and they're getting tired, and then you start winning.